Today, one of the party members dies on Agranak Studios.
Hey there, it's DM's off. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you know when we upload new videos.
So this is the third part in a series of videos where I'm breaking down each session that I'm playing for a 4-shot. This is taking place in my homebrew world of Samhain. So if you want to get up to speed, make sure you watch the first and second video in the series. So Abigail's father has this interaction with Abigail. He realizes that her spirit is inside of this graveyard golem. While this is happening, there are people from the village of Deadwater that are bringing out pumpkins and piling them into a big field. Probably half, if not more, of all the pumpkins that were harvested for the holiday of manifestation. The holiday of manifestation is a time when the ancestors of those who picked these pumpkins come and inhabit the pumpkins and actually converse with the family for 3 days. Something is amiss. The kids ask why all the pumpkins are being piled up. Tobias and Ian's father say that the holiday was going off without a hitch, and then the pumpkins all started to turn to mush and wouldn't hold the spirit of their ancestors. The kids press on further and ask questions about the affinity of the soul, a monotheistic cult. They ask about the death of Abigail's sister, her mother, and all the goings on, trying to gain some sort of clue, or multiple clues. Ethel, our little clown girl that's a conjurer, she decides to talk to someone that might have been around when her grandmother was around. So Ethel, Amber, and Thorn break off from the group and go and seek out an old woman, one of the oldest ones in the village. They approach the home of Eleanor Riley, a seamstress, and she's known to the kids around the village because she's used a lot of her clothing and her deceased relatives' clothing to patch up the kids' clothes. Ethel inquires of her, "What are the children of the flies?" And she gets really downcast.
"Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I'm sorry. You're going to die."
They're taken aback by this, but they still keep asking questions. They speak for a while, and the old woman starts to offer them candy. She takes some as well, and they just start eating. Back at where Ian and Tobias are at, they are talking with Abigail's father. Abigail's father, the mayor, says that he's sorry for striking Tobias, that he didn't know what to do, thought that the kids were playing a trick, saying that Abigail was alive. He didn't know the entirety of what was going on. So they talk about the affinity of the soul with the mayor, the dagger, and what they might have been after. The mayor says that he thinks that they're after the silver charm that she has around her neck. Silver in the Samhain Vale is worth more than platinum because it's a rare commodity. It's been used for centuries to battle off the undead and other unsavory things. So it's not something that's in circulation, let alone worn. So this is a precious thing. These cultists might be after it. Back at Eleanor's house, she keeps offering the kids treats and says,
"You better eat up. We'll be dead before the day's done."
She explains that there's 2 demons, one of ice and one of fire. One lies underneath the village of Ravengrave, and the other one is underneath in the area here near Deadwater. There is a cult that might be trying to wake up these demons for some reason or another. She goes on and remembers that there might be something that could stave this off, at least for a time, or at least weaken the demon, the head of Doulahan that lives in the Doulahan wilds. Because this, the night of manifestation, is the only night that the Doulahan sleeps. So they might be able to steal its head before it wakes up. They pick up the quest and they take off. They go. Back at where the boys are at, 3 pumpkin horrors jump up and attack. It's a relatively quick battle, and the pumpkin horrors are destroyed. Ethel, Thorn, and Amber head back as fast as they can to get to the boys. On the way, they're attacked by one of these pumpkins outside of a door that's turning to mush, rotting away, and attacks them. They make quick work of it. Back at where Ian and Toby is at, another pumpkin jumps up, splits apart, and its vines kind of spread out, starting to choke the brothers. In the center is this glob of flies and nastiness and sinewy sort of grossness that is kind of the brain of the thing. It's choking the boys, are trying to get out of it. The other three come upon the scene. The others join into the fray, and this thing is destroyed. Meanwhile, all the luck points are being depleted. We are playing Easy D6, so I've changed the name Karma to Luck for these sessions, because it makes more sense for the setting. So luck are being spent, hero dice are being spent, and this will become important later. The mayor gets up. He's pissed. He grabs a torch and starts hoofing it over to this pile of pumpkins. He's gonna burn it. Eleanor, the old woman who's been scuffling towards the edge of town, cries out, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" Ethel jumps up and pleads with the mayor, "Don't do it, don't do it. There's something else going on here." The kids huddle up, and they talk about going to the Doulahan Wilds to steal the head of the Doulahan. Ethel then attempts to talk to her grandmother in the spirit realm. She comes and Ethel asks her, "Is the head of the Doulahan gonna help?" She says no, but it will reveal things. This is the only thing that got to go on right now, so they head towards the Doulahan Wilds. Abigail, as the cemetery golem, knows that she needs to stay, because these pumpkins might continue to terrorize the village, so she's just gonna smash them. The mayor stays with Abigail, and Tobias and Ian's dad go with the kids to the Doulahan Wilds. They get to the edge of the Doulahan Wilds. It's a 12-mile trek underneath the light of the moon. There's a loneliness in the Doulahan Wilds, an eeriness that they feel. They're all drawn deeper into the forest, a haunted wood beyond a shadow of a doubt. They see a small patch of gravestones not too far off, and they see a black horse with red eyes, steam coming out of its nose, and flame every once in a while. Next to the horse is a body lying on top of a grave. Amber, the druid type, the beastmaster, approaches the horse. She speaks with it. She has this ability and asks it where the pumpkin head is. And the horse nods over in a direction, right next to the body that's laying on top of the grave. Amber goes back to talk with everyone. Ethel, not wanting to put anybody in harm's way, brings out her imp, Maggot, talks with it and asks it to find the head. Off goes the imp. Maggot goes behind the headstone of the body that's laying there. There is a pumpkin head. Maggot picks it up and starts to waddle back. The Doulahan gets up, enraged. He has a whip made of a spinal column that's 10 to 12 feet long, and he cracks it. Run. The Doulahan mounts the horse and goes after the kids. A chase ensues. The Beastmaster and the Warden both know that if they can get to the edge of the Doulahan, that the Doulahan won't have any more power. So they're running as fast as they can, weaving in and out of the trees. The Doulahan inches closer, but then the kids get farther away. They're running. The whip is cracking behind them. They all get to the edge of the forest and cross over. The Doulahan rearing up to strike down upon them, and it transforms into mist. They're free. They have the head now, and they know they need to get back quick. It's another 12 miles. They decide to forego sleep, because they know time is short. Along the way, Thorn falls asleep. He has to ride on the back of Horn Fanny, the goat. Now they come into the area of Deadwater early in the morning. They see the twilight coming over the Silver Mountains. They begin to hear some powerful chanting coming from the graveyard. Of course. They rush to meet with Abigail's graveyard golem. Pa Darkwater urges the kids to get some sleep, but they know that this thing is pressing. They don't know what's going on over in the graveyard. They argue about what to do for a bit. They want to talk to Mrs. Riley. Should they go to the graveyard? They decide that they should all go to the graveyard. Off they go. They head to the graveyard and come upon the scene. 5 red-robed cultists and 1 leader in purple. This leader's being bowed down to. They're near Abigail's grave. They all rush into attack. They run forward, loosing arrows, throwing rocks, and magic. The cultists turn around. They're bracing themselves, seeing all these children and 1 adult coming after them, let alone this graveyard golem. The high priest is yelling orders to the cultists and starts to conjure magic. Tobias, the brute, takes down one of the cultists. It's a chaotic mess. During the scene when the cultist was dying from Tobias's attack, his fleshy face starts to fall off of him, revealing a fly's head underneath. The high priest sees that Tobias is strong and powerful and targets him. Power level 3 magic attack, the most powerful in the game. This cultist puts out his hand and flies jump out in a blast towards Tobias. It's heading towards him. Flies are starting to go up his nose, into his ears, even up his pant leg. Thorn, the little rascal, jumps in front of the blast at the last second, taking all of the damage. The kids, Abigail, and Paul all are going after the cultists, taking them down one by one. The high priest is getting very scared. They can see it. Abigail and Paul are swinging. Amber and Ethel are slinging magic, along with Ian shooting his bow. The high priest targets Toby again. He's right in the area, and the fear's in his face. Another magic spell. Power level 3. Toby makes a superstition save. The magic does not hit him. The blast of flies and fire is dissipated. Next, Toby is the target of a cultist. He's only got one hit left. The cultist confirms a critical hit. He's about ready to take 2 hits. Now, I gave the option kind of like how Daggerheart is doing things for deaths, though it's done for easy d6. Use your luck points to survive a number of rounds equal to each point. They were out of luck. Number 2, automatic critical success, hit a target near you. Or on a roll of 5 or 6, something interesting might happen. I love using this sort of thing. He chooses the roll of a 5 or 6, he rolls and does not make it. The cultist stabs him, plunging it deep into his side, slicing over into his spinal column, cutting it in 2. Tobias slumps down in a heap, dead. Pa rages. Ian looses an arrow, killing the high priest. Pa goes over and kills this cultist. And then Pa runs over. No, my son! Tobias, no! Emotions escalate. I handed off the role of Abigail to this player, since their character is now dead. They all mourn over Tobias, and after a time, they begin to search around, looting the high priest, finding a gold key pendant. Next, they all hear a shovel hit the ground. Just outside of the battle site is a gravedigger with a green-lit lantern. He says,
Sorry, Tobias was a strong lad.
Thorn speaks up. Don't say his name. You don't know him. He says,
I know everyone in the Samhain Vale.
What's your name? They ask.
My name's Mortimer Graves.
He's the elusive gravedigger of the Samhain Vale, a person of great renown. Amber opens up Abigail's coffin and finds the silver key around her neck. The pendant. Again, silver is worth more than platinum. They rebury Abigail, and the spirit of Abigail that's inhabiting the graveyard golem is at ease once Abigail's body is covered back up. She feels more safe that way. Then Mortimer Graves begins to magically drag Toby over into the grave that he just dug. The party protests, especially Toby's dad. Then Mortimer explains.
He's got to be buried. Do you want this all to be a success? Do you want to stave off the children of the flies, the demons that lie under Muriel's mire? Then give the boy back to the earth, for he belongs to this world no longer.
Amber speaks up. Do you know what's going on?
Yes, I do.
He calls out, Clutch, rise! One of the cultists stands up. He's a flesh golem, and he's put back together after he's destroyed, and begins to walk over. Is he with you, they ask?
Yes, we needed the silver key. It's meant for 3 people that are headed this way. They're coming from the north. They need it to summon a demon that will help save the world of Tarna.
This actually has to do with my main campaign. 2 of the players are actually playing in that. So they get a little excited talking about their characters in this outside campaign in this actual 4-shot. The kids start to argue. They don't know what to do, where to go. Mortimer speaks up.
Hurry! The people of Deadwater are being attacked right now. I'll take the boy, Toby.
Toby's body is drawn over, put into the grave, and Mortimer and Clutch go into the grave as well and are buried by the dirt. The end. There's one more session in this series. Make sure you come back next week to find out the finale. If you want to hear the full play audio of this, it's on our Patreon page. There's a link down in the dungeon. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron. There's a link down in the dungeon. Down there. Also, we have links to other places that Agranak Studios is at.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.